Sometimes forgetfulness has a price. In this case, a slightly bent up lure, some lost line, and a bit of embarrassment.
So we are rounding the northern tip of Long Island. What do you have to worry about?
Well, it goes from 5,000 feet to 20 feet. And we had some super huge swells that when they come up on the 20-foot reefs, they become big, giant, like 15-foot waves. So we had to go about 3 nautical miles out of our way to round about it. Past it. And I think you got some pretty shots of some of the breakers.
So we're rounding Cape Santa Maria right now.
We've rounded it and I'm back into some deep water. In about 45 minutes we'll turn into the banks, and we've got about a 4-hour sail through the banks in some very narrow, shallow areas, and we've timed it perfectly to go at high tide. So we'll get into anchor around 5 o'clock.
From Conception Island, we sail 46 nautical miles to anchor off Salt Pond in Long Island. Long Island is about 80 miles long and 4 miles wide at its widest point. We chose Salt Pond for its well-stocked grocery store and easy access to rental cars. After anchoring, we dinghy at the dock in Salt Pond with the LabMaraners, where we check out the town, reserve a car at Seaside Auto Rental, and spot a nurse shark before heading back to LabMariner for the evening. The rental company is just a short walk from the dinghy dock. We are on Long Island. We've rented a car. We are going south now, and this is the first time that I've been in a car where you had to drive on the right-hand side. Is this your first time driving on the right-hand side?
No.
Where else did you drive on the right-hand side?
I believe England.
Ah. Yeah, we just took the train system when we were in England, so I never drove. Our first stop is Lochabar Beach. We're now at the beach. It is a beautiful white sand beach. And the interesting thing about Lochabar Beach is it has a walkout to a blue hole. It goes from white to a dark blue, which means that there's a blue hole there. So we're going to Dean's Blue Hole next, but I thought it would be fun to do this easy walk-in. The sinkhole off Lochabar Beach is listed on maps as having a maximum depth of 39 feet. But it definitely has a steep drop-off, and Jim and I have fun looking at that drop-off with our snorkel gear. Do you have to continuously be thinking, I'm driving on the left, I'm driving on the left, I'm driving on the left? Do you have to continuously be thinking that, or is it coming more naturally now?
Both. I mean, you stay on the left-hand side, but when oncoming traffic is coming on, you want to make sure that you're giving everybody the right amount of space and you're not going to drift over into their lane.
We're at Clarence Town. We're in front of one of the 2 double-towered churches.
You should go to the side. It looks kind of cool.
The 2 churches were built by Father Jerome, who also built the Hermitage on Cat Island. It's very beautiful with the clouds in the background and the sun shining on it. We're at the second of 2 double-towered churches in Clarence Town. This one is the Anglican Church. The Anglican is the older of the 2 churches. The newer Catholic Church was built when Father Jerome converted to Catholicism. Our next stop is at Bonnecort Beach, which, like many of the sites in the Bahamas, is a bit of a challenge to find. We were told to turn at the sign to the Compass Rose Apartments and follow it to the beach. We found the beautiful little cove next to Bonnecort Beach, and it is lovely. I'm playing on those waves. We're leaving the second cove, which was gorgeous, and gonna see the first cove, which looks pretty too. Our next stop is at Dean's Blue Hole, which is very well marked. Excited about Dean's Blue Hole?
Yes. Yes.
Did you see that it's 663 feet deep?
Yep, it's deep.
And if we swim out to the swim platform, you get to test yourself as far as how far you can free dive. In the Bahamas, warning signs aren't very often, so when you see them, you want to heed them. Access to Dean's Blue Hole is along a sand path just meters from the parking area. To the right is Turtle Cove, and to the left is Dean's Blue Hole. Shortly after entering the water on the left side, there is a steep drop-off. At 663 feet, Dean's Blue Hole is one of the deepest blue holes in the world. It is connected to the Atlantic through an inlet on one side and framed by cliffs and a white sand beach on the other sides. The site is best known for freediving and is where the Vertical Blue Freediving Competition is held every year. A dive platform is positioned just a short distance from the beach entrance, with a rope attached to the platform, which allows visitors to test their skills.
Hey Stephanie, do my goggles give away where we are? My mask is here to show the swim platform and the fact that that little white line right there goes 600 and how many feet?
663 feet.
663 feet to the bottom. I plan on grabbing it and start pulling myself down.
All the way to 663 feet.
There are men and women far better than you and I that do that.
As you can see, there is a very steep sand cliff that starts shortly after you enter the water, which continues onto a deep abyss. Our next stop is the Columbus Monument, which is at the northern part of Long Island. And this is brand new. It was just opened on December 18th, 2020. There's a beautiful pathway up there. It makes it much easier to climb up. This is a brand new path. Very nice. We are here in front of the Columbus Monument that's dedicated to the Lechabards, the Aboriginal people here in the Bahamas, as well as Christopher Columbus, who set foot on this in 1492. We are going to go walk around in the absolutely beautiful lagoons that you see behind me. This is what they say that Christopher Columbus saw when he first arrived at the Bahamas in 1492, and they are gorgeous. This is the lagoon in Cape Santa Maria near the Columbus Monument. And it is quite gorgeous. What do you think, Jim?
1492.
Exactly. Our car is?
What bear?
It's a Toyota Belta. Our last stop is to Erna's Nature Pool. This natural pool is located on the Atlantic side near the LabMariner Resort and is fed by the ocean on two sides. The resort, including their outdoor bar, were closed when we were there. And although it was low tide, I still enjoyed wading in the nature pool.
Yesterday was a bunch of new events for me. It was new because I tried using my fishing pole to go trolling in the shallow waters of the Bahamas. Most all my fishing has always been deep water looking for pelagic fish. When we got in, I have forgotten to, for the first time, retrieve the line from behind the boat. And we ended up having to reverse to set the anchor, and at that moment I realized that I had forgotten to retrieve the line. So I ran back, saw that the line was close to the prop, at least above water, it looked like it, killed the engine, jumped in the water, looked underneath, and the prop had just grabbed the line and had spun the line around the shaft. And ultimately it took this much. I didn't know there was this much on the shaft of the prop, but I did see at the bottom on the floor was my lure and the lead, the metal lead, and it was all pulled together, and you can see a little bit of the fishing line. So I retrieved this, realized I had a problem when I got back out of the water, looked at the spool on my rod, and realized there was a considerable amount of line missing. The line from the rod was still going right into where the prop was. So I went underneath and started unwinding it, and I got about 15-20 wraps easily undone, and it stopped, and I could not get it, and I tried and it snapped. So now could not see any line, knew it was all inside between the sail drive and the prop, which is the blades. There's a gap there where the shaft spins, and the line had gotten stuck inside that area and you could not get inside it. I realized that there was hopefully an easy solution. From the sail drive to the propeller, there is not much of a gap, but there is what they call sacrificial aluminum, and every year you swap those out. And they have some big Allen screws holding them on. So I got out an Allen wrench that would fit those screws, and I dove down holding my breath and slowly but surely removed the 2 screws, pulled the sacrificial aluminum anodes off the sail drive. So once I got the sacrificial anodes off the sail drive, I was able to see my line. There was a gap between the prop and the sail drive of about a centimeter, about a half an inch, and I could see all my lines spooled around it, but I couldn't get into it. And I also realized after trying to cut it a little bit that it was going to take some time. I got out of the water, got my scuba tank put together, and got my dad's old surgical sutures, jumped down there and started to slowly but surely cut and peel away layer upon layer of all of these within that centimeter gap. And after, I don't know, probably about 15 minutes of it, I was able to see no more of this. I was able to get everything out from between that gap of the prop and the sail drive. I cleaned up my embarrassment. I keep this as a lesson for the time being. And then put the sacrificial anodes back on, tightened them all up. So the tip of the week is always be very, very cognizant of any type of line that you accidentally leave in the water. Use those times where you find that you've been motoring along and you find a line in the water, be it a dock line that slipped in, maybe a fender line that was too long, or you only put one fender line on, you had a second one that was dangling over, or a fishing pole where you left the line out, or a dinghy line from the back of your boat. Any of those examples should really stop you in your tracks and say, boy, I narrowly missed getting that sucked into the prop. Because the prop action really does create a vortex that pulls those type of items close to the prop. And once any part of that line gets near that prop spinning, it doesn't take long to basically wrap it all around your prop, and you can create a huge problem.
Join us next week when we fast forward in our adventures to talk about our annual haul out and describe what that entails.